Burdon.
How you doing?
Welcome.
Wherever you are.
Principally, you've come over to do some concerts this week,
Yeah.
I think, at the Marquee.
Yeah, well, one concert at the Marquee, one appearance at the Marquee for 3 days.
For 3 days, yeah.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Twice nightly. Two shows a night.
How did that come about, Eric?
Well, I was over there in the States and began to put this group together. I wanted to come to Europe to work, particularly Germany, to feel out what's happening there technically, see what I could investigate, see what's happening, and then finally end up in England and do a gig that I felt that I would be comfortable working at. And from my side in Los Angeles, I hear very little about what's happening in London now, and it's a long time since I've been here. So it was a choice of gigs, what the Rainbow. I heard, the Rainbow was a place to play. But then, my group primarily is a club group, and it's club music. And the only club that I remember of the right size was the Marquee. So, acoustically, it's the right size for us to deliver what we have to deliver. Any other place would have been too small or too big, because the group is in a stage of development right now. And we can't afford to go on huge concerts, because technically it isn't developed. We don't have a PA system yet. We're still in the process of designing one.
How long has the band been together?
About 2 months. But I've known the drummer for a long time, and he's wanted to work with me for a long time. But he's so powerful that I couldn't find anybody to crank up to the level that he puts out. So I just had to sit back for 2 years and get involved in more in the business rather than the music, until I could find another part of the puzzle. Then I found this guitar player, Elon Butler. The drummer's name is Alvin Taylor, by the way. And Randy Reese is on bass. And they're just 3 LA musicians that we put together and worked and rehearsed, and that's what we're here for, is to lay what we've rehearsed on y'all.
Because you did House of the Rising Sun, Eric, when you made it literally in 20 minutes, in 2 takes, I think.
That's the way to record.
Right. I mean, do you think things are getting a bit sort of defunct these days?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not against using 24-track and 16-track, anything, to get perfection. But like the Mellotron thing is very heavy with me. I've been listening to some music in Europe where guys have done incredible symphonies, almost rock and roll symphonies, and instead of using a real orchestra, they use the Mellotron. And you can tell when a Mellotron is being used, because the arranger inside of his head doesn't work from the point of view of the fact that he's working on a budget with a massive orchestra where each individual instrument is played by an individual person. So he's working with a Mellotron. So his head, arrangement-wise, he throws string sections around too much. So like when I listen to a record that's been used, and Mellotron's been used, I can tell by listening to the arrangement whether it's a Mellotron or a real orchestra right away, and not by listening for the sound of the instrument. And like that to me is an acute flash of the sort of back to mono ideology. It's because I'm not really, I don't really think it should go back to mono. Wherever stereo is effective, it should be used. But I think it has been, the funk began to disappear with Motown. I think Motown was the first farming out of the funk. It was the first cleaning up and deadening process of the the pork,
What about filming, Eric? Are you still gradually getting involved in film work?
Oh, that's my personal private dream. It's the woman that I've been after all these years. The medium of the cinema to me is still just like you saw on the TV screen there before. I mean, you couldn't have, all those experiences that we had when we saw Little Richard live when I was, 15, 16. And all those rock and roll experiences. I mean, to be able to push them together like that segment we just seen there, it's really exhilarating. I mean, it speaks to cinema. Really speaks to people, as does music. So therefore, to use the two together, the audio and the visual together, that's really sucking it home to people and really helping them understand the imagery. You know, I mean, getting symbols across.
Right. We've got to stop, Eric. Time's run out on this. Thanks.